Marcus Tullius Cicero in Marcum Antonium, Episode 7. Liberatus periculo caedis paucis post diebus senatus. Uncus impactus est fugitivo illi, qui in mare nomen invaserat, atque haec omnia communiter cum collega, alia pordro propria dolabellae, quae, nisi collega affuisset, credo iis futurdra fuisse communia. Cicero continues now describing the actions of Marc Antony and his accomplices after the assassination of Julius Caesar. Liberatus, freed from the danger, periculo, neuter singular, ablative of separation, from the danger of slaughter, after a few days was the Senate. So the Senate, senatus, the masculine singular nominative, fourth declension noun, is the subject, and with liberatus we might have est implicit, since liberatus is the predicate, and this is a perfect passive indicative. The Senate was freed from the danger of slaughter after a few days. After that happened, then uncus, a hook, impactus est, was fixed into that runaway slave, fugitivo illi. Impactus est is the fourth principal part of the third conjugation verb impingo impingere, which means to fasten upon. The English word impinge comes from this. So a hook was fixed into fugitivo illi, masculine singular and dative with this compound verb, into that runaway slave who had taken upon himself the name of Marius. Mari here is a masculine singular genitive. The second declension noun Marius ends with an I, and as is common for nouns of these type, Lucius is another example, instead of having the genitive with two I's, the second one is absorbed into the first one, or simply dropped, we might say. And so this is a genitive. This runaway slave, invaserat, this is the pluperfect of invado, third conjugation, invadere. He had taken upon himself the name of Marius, and as punishment, he had a hook fixed into his body. He was dragged through the streets, Juvenal tells us, and his body was tossed into the Tiber. And so, atque, this summative conjunction, all these things, haec communia, were done jointly, communiter, with his colleague, collega. Perhaps we want to understand facta sunt here with haec and omnia. All these things were done jointly, communiter, the adverb, in common, with his colleague. Collega is a masculine, singular, ablative, and is one of many first declension masculines. Other actions, alia, for sure, pordro, were unique to dolabella. Dolabella, masculine, singular, genitive. This is the famous general from the Civil Wars. It was also Cicero's son-in-law. Dolabella had married his daughter Tullia, who had died by this point. She died in 45. Other things, indeed, were the unique actions of Dolabella, those things which nisi collega affuisset, nisi is non si, which, if his colleague, meaning Marc Antony, had not been absent, so if not, affuisset is from ab sum, to be absent. If his colleague had not been absent, in other words, if Marc Antony had been there, then I believe, credo, and this introduces oratio obliqua, indirect discourse, indirect speech, I believe that those actions, communia, would have been, communia fuisse, and futura here, indicating the future. They would have been actions jointly done by them, or shared by them. Iis is a masculine plural dative of possessor, meaning if Antony had not been gone, then Dolabella and Antony would have conspired together in the many things that they did in Rome at the time.